Hello everyone and welcome you all to another chapter of the Adobe Premiere Pro Essentials tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 9 and here I'll be showing you guys the transitions in Premiere Pro. Okay, so where to use the transitions, how you can use different type, how you can actually set up your default transition as well. Okay, we'll be learning about all of this here in this particular chapter. So let's not waste time and let's get started with learning transitions in Premiere Pro. So here, as you guys can see, I am here in the workspace of my Premiere Pro. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to import some videos over here. Okay, so I will just double click and I will just take some videos over from here. Okay, so let me just play this video. And now what I'm going to do is I will just mark in and I will mark out over here. Okay, and this particular frame I want to put it here in my timeline, and again I will come here. Okay, maybe I will take this particular video, and now what I'm going to do is I will double click this one and I'll just play this video up from here. Okay, so let me just play this thing up. I will mark in and here I will again mark out. Okay, so now this particular video, again, I'll come here and I'll just put this thing up. So, and I'll just click on minus. Okay, so over here, I just want to add some transitions here in the middle. Okay, so simply what I can do is if I just click plus over here, so now I can just bring this thing right around here. And now in middle, once I am here in the center of both of this video, what I can do is here you can see I do have options if I want to apply the default transition. Okay, so here as you guys can see I do have applied the dissolve transition. Okay, so from here as you guys can see, so now I can actually set the duration of the transition. Okay, so I can basically set the transition. So basically this cut over here, it's this one is also a transition, but this one is called the cut transition. And sometimes we do try to prefer that one. Okay, sometimes too much of transition if we put, it will just make our video look quite dull and it won't just look professional. Okay, so sometimes we do try to use the cut transitions in many cases. Okay, but now here as you guys can see I do have the cross dissolve as my default. And now if I want to set the transition limit, I can actually set the transition limit. So here as you guys can see, this is how it will do the transition as you guys can see over here. Okay, so this is the cross dissolve one. So this is how it will transit over here. And now if I want to set the transition duration, so I can just right click once I am there in the transition and I can just set the duration. Otherwise what I can do is I will just select this one. Okay, so I will just click on this thing over here, right click. If I just want to clear this thing up, I can just clear this thing up here as well. Okay, but here I need to make sure that I am here in the middle, and if I just want to apply anything I can just apply over here. Okay, so this is one transition which we can work with. Again I will just apply the default transition over here. So what I can also do is from here, now if I want to start my transition work, in that case I just want to go to my editing workspace. Okay, so if you like to go to the editing workspace, I'm already over here. Okay, so you guys can actually create your own workspace as well. If you want to use your own workspace, you guys can edit your particular workspace, then save it down from here. Okay, so now what I can do is I just want my effects window. Okay, so I will come here and from here I will just click on effects over here. So as you guys can see in this part, I do have my effects over here. Okay, so I will just make it more visible to you guys. Okay, so here as you guys can see, under here, I do have the option for video transitions. Okay, so now if I come here to this one over here, okay, now if I will just increase the size right around here, what I can also do is I can just bring this thing here in the middle. Okay, otherwise if I just come here and if I want to cut it here in the center. Now here, if I just play this thing out, okay, so here you guys can see now the transition is quite different. Okay, so now again, if I just select this one, okay, so show actual sources, if I just click this button up, okay, so it will just show me that actual source over here. Okay, so this is about this one over here. Here you guys can check these things out. Okay, now if I just decrease the size quite like this, okay, we can basically work around with this frame over here. So I will just come to this frame again, and here you guys can see the cross dissolve one over here. And here there are other options as well. Okay, so if I want to align it, start at a cut, here you guys can see my transition will directly start from here. In my second clip at the starting, it will start. And if I select end at cut, then my transition will just end here at my this particular place. Okay, at the cut. Okay, so if I just select this one, it is just ending at the end of my first clip. And if I come here, center, okay, so I am just aligning here in the center. Okay, so it will just give a blend over here. Okay, so now I will just come to my video transitions over here. Okay, so as you guys can see, I do have a lot of these transitions out here which I can use. But here in the cross dissolve, as you guys can see, I do have a blue color box over here. So that means that this one is now the defaulted transition. Okay, so in any place, if we just come here and if we try to apply the default one, the cross dissolve will be applied. Okay, so there are a few of the other things. If you want to dip this thing to white, now if I want to set or select this one as my default transition, here you can see I can select this one as my default transition. Okay, so now what I can do is I will just select this thing up, and if I want to delete this, I can delete that one. And now again, I will just come here, right click and apply default transition. So now I will select this one, and here you guys can see I can actually check the start time and also the end time over here. Okay, so here you guys can see if I just do this thing quite like this, and also I will just decrease this frame over here. Okay, and now I can also just start them, cut it at the center. Okay, so now let's see how it actually looks. Okay, so this one kind of looks like this. As you guys can see, this one is just dipping to white. Okay, we can basically work here with this one. And now if I just bring this over here and this one over here, now again, if I just use this particular transition, so this is how it will apply over here. Okay, so there are few of these things which we can use. If we want to tick mark this one, show actual sources, you guys can also do that over here. Okay, if you want to work this thing out, okay, so you guys can actually work this thing out over here as well. Okay, so if I just want to put it here in this part, so I can just put this thing here in this part as well. And now if you want to decrease the duration of this one, you can also decrease the duration if you just want to move this thing around. Okay, so I can just move this thing around as well. Okay, so for me, I don't like to put my transitions big. Okay, so I would like to keep my transition small. Okay, so it should transit quite easily. So now in the same way, if I just delete this one, I can come here in the dip to black option, and now I can also drag and drop it here in this particular part. Okay, so now once I select this one, I'll just select this center at cut. If I want to decrease the size, I can basically decrease the size over here. And now you guys will be able to see the transition once I play this one. Okay, so small transitions look quite great. Okay, so I'm not telling you that you guys have to do the same way, the way I do. Okay, but I'm just showing you guys the options, what all are available, and what the kind of things do I use when I do my video editing. So using my razor tool over here, okay, so let me just select this razor tool over here. Let me just put up a cut here, here, and here as well. Okay, so now I can just basically show you guys a few more of the transitions. Okay, so if I want to put more transitions, okay, suppose I will just select this zoom one over here. Okay, and I do have the cross zoom. So what I can do is I can bring and put this one right around here. Select my selection tool, and using this one, I can just decrease the size of my transition. Okay. And now I can also select the here, as you guys can see, this also gave me some instruction. Okay. Image A zooms in, then image B zooms out. Okay. So here, what I can do is I will just zoom this thing quite a bit over here. And now I will just zoom this thing out somewhere here. Okay, so I will just apply this one. Okay, let's see how it actually looks. Okay, so this one is quite small. Okay, we have to make sure that while we work on with this thing, so this is how it actually looks. Just to show you guys an example, I know that doesn't look quite pretty over here. Okay, so now again, I will come here to my slide option. Okay, there are different options. Okay, so what I can do is I can just take this band slide and I can just put it here in the middle. Okay, so any work do if I have to do with the transitions. Okay, so I will come here, and now if I just play this thing, this is how the transitions looks like. Okay, so these are few of the transitions which you can actually use. Okay, a lot of options out here. So I can also put some other transitions over here. If I just wanna decrease the size, I can also decrease the size over here. Okay, so now let me just play this whole video out. So it is kind of looking like that. And that is the last transition here as well. Okay, so as you guys can see, this particular part, it became red. Okay, so here it became red because this one is not rendered. And now when I am trying to move this thing around, okay, you guys can see it is getting a bit stuck over here. Okay, so this one here as well, this one is also getting stuck. So for that, what I need to do just to render the preview, what I can do is if I just come here and if I just click on enter, here you guys can see it is just rendering the preview for me. And once the rendering is done, you won't be able to see the red line again over here. Okay, so now that red things turned into green over here. Now, if I just move my mouse around, you guys are not able to see the stuckiness here in my footage. Okay, so I hope you guys have now understood this particular class on how you can actually add different kind of transitions. Okay, so if you want to change anything over here, you guys can always come to this point and you guys can work these things out. Now, as you guys can see, I have just selected this one. So this is how it kind of looks right now. If you want to trim this thing down, you guys can trim this thing down. If you want to trim it up, you guys can always trim it up here as well. Okay, so this was all about transitioning. So I hope you guys have understood this class, and now you will be able to add transitions in your video seamlessly. Okay, so hope to see you all in the next chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye everyone.